welcome to our release notes. I'm Edgar Quadro, Solution Consultant here at Star Telecom. And on the video today, we have Randall. Randall, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey, how's everybody?
Perfect. And a new member to our Star Telecom Solution Consultant team, Ryan. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Ryan Duffy. As you said, I'm the newest solution consultant here. Formerly was a solutions consultant over at Genesys proper, and really excited to be joining the Star team and looking forward to looking into the release notes this week.
Excellent. Yes, thanks, Ryan. Yeah, we're looking forward to those insights that you can give us. So we'll jump right into it. We'll start with July 5th week releases. And if I jump into them, you can see here the very first one, extended video transcriptions, voice transcription services support for English dialect and German Switzerland. So for those that are not aware, extended video transcription services allow you to take the voice transcription from the native Genesys transcription and use a third-party service like Microsoft Azure to do a lot of those transcriptions, specifically when there's a unique dialect or language that may not be supported out of the box. It does still require Genesys to be able to highlight that or to use a supported language to be able to export to a third-party transcription provider. But you can see here that Genesys English Hong Kong, English Ireland, English New Zealand, and English Singapore and German Switzerland are those new dialects or supported languages that Genesys has. Okay. I'll move on here. Improved native voice transcription accuracy for English dialects. So following the same line here, just improving the engine that does the detection of those particular languages. So Australia, Great Britain, United States, South Africa. That means the sentiment analysis and the transcription of a voice will be much better. The accuracy of that transcription will be higher with this improvement that Genesys has pushed out. All right, the next one here is trigger process automation for any evaluation state change. So what this means is taking advantage of the built-in Genesys automate workflows or process automation within Genesys Cloud for quality management evaluations forms. Once the status changes of that form, then within Genesys you can trigger an action. One example I can think off the top of my head is maybe a new hire or new product release, and you have an evaluation form to make sure the agents are following and saying the correct things for a new product, and we have a form to make sure that is done. Once an agent has had, let's say, 5 forms for this new product filled out for them, or not 5 forms, but whatever the case may be, and complete has been checked off 5 times, then move them out of that evaluation group or remove them out of the policy that has been assigned to them, and that's an automated way or using Power Automate or using the automation tool within Genesys to make that happen. That's a simple case. I don't know, Ryan, Randall, anything you want to add to that or another case?
I'm off the top of my head, and as I looked at this more and more, we don't know exactly how this could be used because there's so many different things you could trigger with this, but there's a lot of different use cases we came up with that were kind of interesting, like the one you just mentioned. Yeah. Possibly, assigning training modules to someone after they've completed an evaluation, that sort of thing. Ryan, what do you think?
Yeah, no, and I think there's a lot of options here. Like you said, we could also have potentially assigning skills to a user based off of once they've completed certain evaluations. Once they've, like you said, you have that new hire, they're coming in, they've completed their step-by-step, they've now been evaluated and checked, and we'll assign some new skills to that user. Just the fact that we're able to automate a lot of this can really take a lot of workload off of that that quality manager.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, great one, and looking forward to the feedback from our clients about that and how we can help them take advantage of that. All right, next one here. I think it's much needed in the divisions feature set, but now you can turn it on where you need to be part of a division to be able to add roles or permissions to that division. So its roles and permissions are now division aware. So you have to be part of that division to be able to add something. I think previously, I know I have been able to add roles and permissions to a different division that I wasn't part of, or my user wasn't part of. So tightening up the divisions and really making it a powerful feature within the platform.
Yeah, I think we're seeing a lot of larger organizations now adopt Genesys Cloud, and the need for divisioning out business units and segregating access, obviously security. Just like you said, before this was in play, if you were an administrator, well, you could do things in other divisions. Now you can make divisional aware administrators, if you will. I think this is a great move forward for Genesys for sure.
Yeah. Okay. A couple of other announcements here is the iconography, or the new updated icons throughout the platform have been, I think, rolled out. So Genesys is just making us aware of that. And then the legacy Dialog Engine, they were removing that, and it has been removed as of July 17th. So that's the Dialog Engine bot for bot flows and everything. They've now updated the engine for digital bots. So the legacy one has been deprecated. All right. Let's move on now to the July 12th week release notes. And this one's quite huge. I'm going to lead off with this. Is Architect User Interface Refresh. So Genesys has updated the look and feel of the Architect tool to make it more in line with the rest of the UI refresh that they've been working on throughout the year. So let me bring that over and quickly give a small little demo on here. Let me switch that off. So you can see here, this is the current or the old version. Now notice on the top right hand side, there's a new Architect toggle. So if I toggle this on, notice a couple changes in here. First, along the top here is that same tab kind of a feature that we're used to in the performance views is now part of the main splash, or the main landing page of Architect. Again, those pop-ups, so that the three little buttons that we're used to in the environment are there. The menu item has changed as well, so it's just now a pop-up, and it pops up very nicely here. And the overall look and feel is cleaner. It's more in lines with that lighter tone color palette, as opposed to the more darker color palette.
And it looks a lot more rounded and less angular, less sharp on a lot of things. So it's just a softer look overall.
Yeah, a lot of the buttons. If I continue on with when create one, you'll see that same theme is followed throughout here. And if I go and open one up, an Architect, let's see what it looks like and the different changes there. So this is old, right? And you have to make a note that that's actually something I noticed here. And then if I flip that over to new, the new icons there, the spacing is a little bit is more pronounced. If I go into the toolbox in here, these modules are more. There's a bit more contrast that I can actually drag and drop them. You can see here, as opposed to previously they're not. So it looks like more like something I can drag and drop onto there. If I minimize, the icons show up there. And this is something that I think was pretty cool. If I hover over those icons, it actually brings out what I can do with it, as opposed to when it was previously, there's a little call out. So I don't know, little features like that I think are pretty cool. On the right-hand side menu, there's also, again, it's changed. It looks more pronounced. It's more in line with the overall design of it.
Looks bigger it looks better on a larger screen too. Like I use a 27-inch monitor front and center and I'm looking at it right now, and I've been using it recently, and I like the way it lays out on your screen when you're spending all day building flows, right? So
yeah,
good stuff.
The flow ID number, or not each individual block, those ID numbers being kind of highlighted like that. That's going to make life so much easier when you're trying to debug and follow through the flow.
You're right. Look at that. Yeah.
Like that stands out.
I'm curious to know, because I didn't check this out. What does it look like when you hit the print button? A lot of people don't think about this, but Genesys Cloud has that crazy feature where you actually can print out your call flows rather than, having to build it in Visio and then build it in Genesys Cloud from that. We can print. Where is the print?
Under save.
Yeah, you probably have to save and then it'll print it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it got moved.
Oh, okay. Generate printout. There we go.
Yeah, it's the same.
Yeah, it is the same, unfortunately. But
yeah. Cool. But that's interesting. That's actually something I didn't catch in the release notes. Print got moved under save.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Cool. Good catch. All right. Yeah. So that is that architect update refresh. So, and I think if you start reading here, it's setting up architect, I think, for some changes coming down the line. I don't know. I think it would be kind of cool if it's a tabbed environment. So if I'm working on multiple flows, maybe it's tabbed in between there. I don't know if that's going to be helpful or not. I'm not much of an architect guy, but
I would absolutely love that, being able to switch between different flows without having to close it or having even different Chrome tabs. That would save so much time. Oh, that'd be beautiful.
Nice. All right. Well, we'll see. All right. We'll see where they're taking this. Okay. Next one here. Configure new conditional group routed methods. All right. This one I think is quite the new feature in here as well, where it will now allow you to set up rules with a group of agents, shared group agents between different queues, and you can monitor the particular KPI to trigger these rules. Where if the estimated wait time in one queue hits the threshold that you set, then it will activate agents automatically from, let's say, queue A or queue B. Activate them so they can start taking calls to queue A. That makes sense there. If I scroll down and look at the actual example here of the image in here, it will allow you to share those group of agents between different queues. Randall, I know you have a bit more ops experience than I do. Did I explain that correctly, or
you
did?
You have a
different take on it?
Well, you did. So first of all, let's talk about now that you can create groups dynamically by default. So basically, you can say add all the agents to this group based on their skill and their skill level. And then you can also start dynamically changing whether that the members of that group and assigning that group to a queue. So if we go back to that view you were just looking at.
Right here. Yep.
Right. So I don't know if you can zoom in a bit. Right. Okay. Scratch what I just said. I'm sorry. That wasn't relevant. Let me just look here for a second.
Pause.
Okay.
So again, this is being able to share.
What I still said was relevant. So what I said earlier was relevant. But what this is about is being able to set, first of all, you can assign users directly to queues. Or you can assign users to groups and then you can assign that group to a queue to take calls. That it makes management a lot easier. And also you can assign roles to the group so that all of a sudden, rather than having to assign a user to a group, or sorry, to a queue and to be able to get work, and then roles to be able to get permissions and access to do things, if you assign those two things to a group and then you assign the user to the group, they automatically get them through what we call inheritance. Cool. Well, what if I need to be able to dynamically add and remove groups from a queue based on criteria? That's what this is about, rather than having to sit there and watch what's going on. And of course, many contact centers during the run of a day will have busy periods and slow periods. For example, maybe during a certain period, I want to add the sales team to the support queue because I get inundated during a specific time period, but then I want to remove them, right? Later on. And you can see evaluating before the next rule. So you can start building that automatic response to remove and add agents.
This is great for any sort of overflow management. If you have too many interactions coming in, you can pull in other groups. We could even tie this into what we were talking about earlier with the process automation. You have a new agent coming in, have them added to one of these groups, and so they're ready on standby.
I got one better for you, and I don't know yet. Edgar, can you go in and actually look at this routing and share your screen for a second?
Yeah, give me a couple seconds.
Because I'm wondering what type of groups it will allow you to add a skill group or just a regular group. So what's a skill group? That's what I was starting with earlier. There's your traditional groups where you go in and simply name the group and add users to it. Or you can have a skill group where you say, if a user has this skill and with this specific proficiency, add them make them a part of this group. So with that being said, it means you can start defining groups based on the skills you assign them. It's a one-stop shop. And then with that process automation you're talking about, let's say after an agent nails a couple of evaluations, you create a step that goes and adds a skill to them and a proficiency, which defines them as being part of a skill group, and that skill group is part of this routing. Boom. Seems very complex, but all of a sudden that agent will be part of the queues and get the work that they need to. So all of this stuff is really about dealing with dynamic workloads during the day and ensuring the right agents are available to take that work automatically.
Guys, for both those insights. Okay, next one here is Touchpoint variation for workbench articles. So within the workbench, sorry, I'm drawing a blank here right now, everyone on the video. I apologize for that. The optimizer, of the knowledge workbench here. It appears within these particular articles, you can see which tools in Genesys Cloud is drawing upon them. So you might have a knowledge base that's shared with Agent Assist, but also that same knowledge base is shared for online bot chat or online web chat for a bot, and also IVR voice bot that can draw upon this knowledge as well. Now, with this new Touchpoint feature, we can see which particular tool in Genesys Cloud is actually drawing upon and viewing this article. So very good from an analytics standpoint to see how well your knowledge is, but then also what tool is best utilizing the article. And then maybe from there, maybe I want to dedicate more resources to creating articles for Agent Assist, as opposed to maybe Support Center, to help you manage your internal resources that way. Okay. And last one here is Genesys Cloud CX is FedRAMP authorized at the moderate impact level. I don't have much experience with FedRAMP, but in general, FedRAMP is a particular region that allows government government deployments or government clients to be deployed within this region that is hardened and locked down for government use. So it looks now that there is, trying to read here, new update security authorizations and security features for that to make it FedRAMP compliant.
So
anything need to add there, guys? Yeah.
Yeah, I might be able to help you with this one. So FedRAMP is about the U.S. government and adhering to security standards so that you can use an application to support government organizations and what have you. You're correct. Genesys Cloud has a FedRAMP region, and they've been working diligently to make sure that that region, which is specific for this, meets compliance so that they can use it to meet the goals of the U.S. government.
Okay, thanks there. All right, let's move on now. That's the end of July 12th. July 19th. Take a look here what we have. Very first one here under the communicate feature set is Polycom Zero Touch Provisioning. So Polycom Zero Touch Provision is actually a very legacy feature, but still kind of relevant to today. Is if you have a large deployment of hardware, and as soon as that desk phone gets internet access, it will then reach out to its mothership. In this case, it's the Polycom Zero Touch Provisioning server. That server will then tell you, okay, your provisioning is Genesys Cloud or this, and then it will pull all the phone configs from that particular org. So now it looks like Genesys Cloud is enabling the provisioning an unlimited number of supported Polycom phones. Let's see. Let me just read that a bit more here. Yeah. I don't see why not. It hasn't been added in the past there, but now you can use zero touch provisioning for Poly phones. All right, next one here is specify a Canadian address as a remote emergency address. So for the Genesys Cloud voice numbers that get associated to your org, you can set a Canadian address as the remote emergency address. Within that for 911 call routing to that specific phone. Next, under the contact center feature is collaborate quick chat access to recent chat messages. So collaborate chat quick access feature provides communicate users with a keyboard shortcut option to swift access to the recent messages. So let's take a look a little bit more and see what that is. Right. So these are new shortcut features that looks like you can quickly navigate between different chats and being able to just increase your efficiency for all those clients or those orgs that are using the Genesys chat feature in Genesys Cloud. Okay. Real-time interactions data export. It looks like now through the data export feature of interactions, you can now export the data in real time, including the current day's interactions.
Yeah, and so in the past, when you were looking at exporting this data using for example, even the APIs or in the interactions view, it took some time for it to all get in there. And now you can actually see it and export it real time. It's good stuff.
Great. Yep. Next one here is turn on sentiment analysis when you're using Google Dialogflow CX interactions. So as a customer is interacting with a Google Cloud bot that you have enabled in your IVR or in your web chat, you can run sentiment analysis against that particular leg of the interaction. So what is the tone of a customer interacting with the bots or a Google bot that you've deployed in your org? Pretty cool, valuable insight. We'll let you kind of know now, is your client base really enjoying talking to a bot? Yes or no, and then you can take advantage of all the powerful sentiment analysis features to get more insight on that customer experience, which I think is pretty amazing. Okay, suppress call recordings during IVR flow and in-queue segments. So I know in the past when we turn on call recording, the whole leg of the call gets recorded, including the IVR kind of interaction. If the customer says anything in the queue, well, now we can actually turn off those segments. So do not record IVR, do not record in queue, only record agent interaction with the customer. So pretty good little feature there. And a couple announcements here is the continuing of deprecating the legacy Dialog Engine. Okay. All right, that ends this week's features. Let's move on to the next week. And now this is for July 26, 2020.
That was a good day. That was a really good day, July 26th. This is my birthday.
All right, Randall. Yeah. Happy birthday. Let's see how Genesys celebrated your birthday, huh?
Well,
they blessed you by releasing agent evaluation detail export generation for multiple agents. So now you can export when we go into the evaluation details performance view. Let me bring that over here. We can read on that in your evaluation here. We can multi-select agents and then export the details record around that. So I'm gonna, if I had information where I could go ahead and select that, go to export, and then now when I export this particular view, it's going to export that particular views for the agents that I've selected. And happy birthday, Randall, for that. Okay, next feature here is a new feature, an override setting for the service goal template. This now allows you to override in service level goals that you've set in WFM to increase it temporarily or for a specific, for a specific line of business. I mean, it looks here to help and protect the service goals. So if I go into Genesys Cloud and I go ahead and open up my service goals for my demo Acme business unit, and I go to service goals, notice that there is a new toggle. I toggle that on, then I can go ahead and change my service level impact from what is 90% or 90%, and I want to go ahead and change that service level accordingly. Right, so I can do that both on the increase it or to go ahead and decrease it. Okay, so that's a new feature there that workforce administrators can go ahead and take advantage of. The next one here, again in line with workforce management, is being able to increase the number of business units, number of management units and agents per org to a much higher level. I believe this is probably in response to larger BPOs or as potentially the need to manage more and more users in workforce management on Genesys Cloud. Maybe those initial thresholds or dimensions weren't enough, and now Genesys has created the ability to increase that. A ticket does need to be created or opened with Genesys proper to go ahead and increase those thresholds, but it is now available to go ahead and increase those limits. Okay, next one here is topic minor support for Spain Spanish and Latin America Spanish. So again, for those clients within those regions, you can go ahead now. You can take advantage of topic mining to help with your AI or bot improvements functionality. And that concludes July 2023 releases. Randall, Ryan, anything else you want to add before we sign off this month?
No, have a good end of summer. See you in September.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, no, this is fantastic.
Excellent. All right. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Ryan. Again, welcome to the team. And for everyone that's watching, thanks again for joining us on for the July 23 release notes. Don't forget to go ahead and like and subscribe our YouTube channel here. And for those that are watching this and have listened to the end of our podcast video, you can always jump to different sections of the video via the chapters features in the YouTube video and in the description down below. Okay. Again, thanks everyone for watching. Have a great month. Take care. Bye-bye.